the level way up till it's high voltage. We gon' light 'em up, make the world take notice. When the game face on, then it's game over. You a witness and a force to be reckoned. Grinding for greatness. Proving it.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're about to have a little bit of a vent session here with the Orioles, and I've got my good buddy here, Brian Old Rogers. What's going on, Brian? How you doing today?
I am old, I'll tell you that much. And I want to apologize in advance to everybody. My eyes are a little, these allergies are kicking my butt right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too. I've never had allergies before until this year. I thought that was pretty incredible.
It's kind of weird thinking like it's just, you see the cars outside with all the pollen and it's like, damn. And all of a sudden my eyes started just going nuts.
Dude, I want to wash my truck and it's not even worth it. Not even worth it right now.
What kind of truck you have?
Just an F-150.
All right. Good deal.
Yeah.
Power
Let's
truck,
get into it, man. Let's start to vent a little bit because I know we both want to do it. And so I even named this thing Panic or Patience. And my description was the Orioles have given us excitement and chest pains so far in 2025.
Where do you want to start in regards to the Orioles?
Where can you start?
That's
there's so much to go over.
Yeah.
So look, there's the easy stuff to go over. Like, I think we all understood the pitching was going to be the pitching this year. I think we all kind of got over that in spring training. I think it's doing a little worse than I anticipated. You never look at what we have in the rotation and say that's the second worst starting rotation in baseball. Could they have been like, we'll say like between 15 and 20? Yeah, I think that was probably more the expectations of it, where the offense probably could have carried them to a respectable record. The offense sucks just as bad as the pitching more than half the time, which is why they have a losing record. But let's start with this is a lifeless baseball team, in my opinion.
Tell me if I'm wrong with this statement. Do they feel disjointed? Do they feel completely out of sorts?
I don't know, because like when you read the stuff that JCM puts out and stuff, like they're getting along in the locker room. They're singing, they're dancing, they're playing pool. They're all that good stuff that you want to hear. But then like when they get out on the field, they look horrible. And it's like they get down 2 runs and it's like, game's over. And you just don't see like, I mean, even in my intro, like that was 2023. That team had fire. Like they were never out of a ball game. Didn't matter if it was, they were down 5 runs in the 8th inning. Like you stayed in your seat because you knew that team was going to battle to the end. This now, like you get down 3-0 in the 3rd inning and like you're starting to see people already heading for the seats because they know the game is over. Like, what happened? Like, we're looking at really, really good ball players. Look, I thought last year was a fluke, and now that it's pouring over some of the time, it's like, dude, what the hell is going on?
They just seem so out of sorts. It's ridiculous.
They do.
Like, I feel like my bank account is in a better state than the Orioles right now. I
think that's fair to say.
Mm-hmm.
My bank account's just as bipolar,
I know.
It's weird, man. And I don't know if it's like, when the pitching gives up a little bit of runs, it's just like, it's so deflating because they know they have to deal with it. Or if it's just, and I didn't like Brandon Hyde's comments the other day that like the team has struggled, like they're struggling to let go of failure. Like that's really concerning in my opinion, like for them and for him.
I would agree with you 100%. I mean, it seems like they can't get over the old times. These are the new times.
Yeah.
And we have the team to do it.
Yeah, they're good ball players that are just not playing good.
This is such a very weird, like, it's a weird weird transition, but I watched a Vince Lombardi documentary the other day, and he talked about how he did not get a job with the New York Giants for a long time. And then he immediately got a job with the Green Bay Packers, who were a fledgling franchise, who were on the teeter of not even being a franchise anymore. And he came in and turned them around.
Yeah.
We need someone that just wants to find excellence and knowing that you'll never find perfection, but you will find excellence in some way, shape, or form. And I don't know if Brandon Hyde's the guy to take us there. I really don't.
I used to be a really, really big Brandon Hyde supporter
Mhm.
and defender. And then all of a sudden, it's like, now every time he gets a microphone in front of him, I just get more and more upset with the comments, and the lineups are driving me up a freaking wall. And then the whole Mateo thing, like, it's getting hard. And for a long time, I was like, Brandon's been dealt with some really shitty cards. Like I can't tell you a franchise that's had as many injuries as the Orioles have had since 2023. It's incredible. And, for a long time, it was like, he's 6 pitchers are out. These kids are young at the plate, but now it's like these kids aren't young anymore. Like, yeah, sure, Holiday is, but I mean, you're going on year 3 for most of these guys. That's not considered a young kid in the major leagues anymore.
No,
You
you're a
know,
vet at that point. I mean,
yeah,
almost
like
seasoned vet.
their excuses are gone.
Mhm.
And like, sure, the excuse for the pitching is still there because a lot of guys are hurt, but it's like you've known they were hurt. And that this part falls on Elias for not, being a little bit more aggressive and whatnot. And we'll touch on that too, because I don't want to say a theory, but I just have a thought about it all.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like 2023, they played inspired baseball. And we saw a little bit of it last year. Like, when people were yelling at Hyde, like Cowser turned around and defended him. But it's like, I don't see any emotion from anyone right now.
The only emotion that I see, and I think you actually brought it up, or maybe Brooks brought it up that you saw, was Gunnar and maybe Heston, like staring out at the field after
Yeah.
a loss in like game 14. And they look dejected, almost like they just lost the World Series.
Yeah.
That's nothing fun about that. And baseball is made to be fun. It's a game.
Yeah. And like, look, you always know you're going to get hustle out of Gunnar Henderson. And I think so far we can say we've seen a good bit of hustle out of Heston Kjerstad. And Mullins is always going to kind of give you what he's got every single night. But like, I don't get that vibe from anybody else.
I
Like they're
really
just
don't.
going balls to the wall.
And look, this is not a shot at Adley, but this is going to come off as a shot at Adley. Like he is a baby. He's a baby boy.
But he's not. That's the worst part.
You're right. He is not. And here's the kicker: we need somebody, and that's why I love Westy so damn much. He's an engine.
Yeah.
Someone needs to fucking put a charge in these guys. Pardon my language, but
No, I mean, I fully agree with you. And I think, look, we everybody and their mother said this team needs a leader, and this team needs some veteran leadership. It needs some older guys. I almost think Michael Elias took that a little too far with the age of pitchers that they signed. But in the reality of it, the pitching was never the young part. Like there was no kids other than okay, Grayson was what is he 25 now, and Povich or he's 23, something like that. But they weren't kids like the lineup. The lineup still hasn't gotten that veteran leadership. Like, yeah, sure, Tyler O'Neill's played for a while, but he just doesn't strike you as that like veteran guy that's going to just kind of keep the glue together. And look, Cedric's been around a long time.
but he's
I
on his
don't
way
know,
out. He's looking for a contract.
right? And I mean, I don't think he's a guy that's like, yeah, he's that quiet leader, but he's not the guy that I don't think they need right now that's going to kind of get in your face. And I don't even know if getting in your face will work, but it seems like the whole little like mommy telling you how great you are, that didn't work. So what else can you do?
Where do you find leadership in this team? Like that's a question for you.
I've been trying to answer that all offseason. Like I thought maybe Jordan Westberg could do it, but I know Jordan Westberg is a quiet type guy. We know Gunnar is a fiery guy, but is Gunnar a leader kind of guy? Like, and I talked about this earlier. Is I think these guys are they're all too friendly with each other. And which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but they're not going to yell at each other, And with baseball in the locker room, and there was a video going around a couple weeks ago about an old fight with Pete Rose and I forget the guy. Like they went at it. Pete basically like speared him into a locker. Fists were flying. Like sometimes that can get you going.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference was they were men back then, and that shit got put aside. Afterwards, and they went out, and the common goal was to win baseball games.
Yeah. I mean,
and good teams can do that. You see that kind of stuff happen in football locker rooms every year.
see
They
Oakland
fight
A's
each other all the time.
in the Oakland A's early '90s. I mean, like
Right.
those guys hated each other, but
Yeah.
damn it, they got it together.
Yeah, these guys are just like, hey, like let's get the family and go on vacation together, kind of like friendly.
Yeah, bullshit.
They're not going to do that to each other.
This isn't the annual jersey exchange. Like,
Right.
let's go, let's dance.
Yeah.
I want some moxie. I want some people who actually want to go out there and fight.
Yeah, or just show any like Ryan O'Hearn. Like I think Ryan O'Hearn could be that leader here. Because he does show you that anger and that willingness to win kind of thing. But I don't know. Like I definitely think guys look at Ryan and respect him like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think they respect all each other like crazy, completely honest with you. But it just something is just missing. And it's like we may be nitpicking. We really may be nitpicking, trying to find the answer ourselves, but it's bad.
And Brooksy brought it up the other day. Like, JD Martinez is still sitting out there. And I'm not saying he's the answer, but he's a guy who's been there, been around, won a World Series. Why not? Like, what is it going to hurt? It's like praying.
Dude, our DH is terrible.
It's awful.
I need to look it back up because the other day it was extremely pathetic. The amount of people that are DHing right now and just not getting the job done. And let me see, Baltimore position DH.
And I want to bring this up right now.
147 out of our DH right now. They're 10 for 68 with 2 RBIs and 17 strikeouts in 68 paid players.
That's ridiculous.
And that is, let me break that down by player. Now, a lot of that is Adley and O'Hearn, and I'm not taking shots at them. It's just not working. So Westberg's 0 for 7, Gunner's 0 for 5, Tyler's 0 for 4, Heston's 1 for 4, Gary's 0 for 3, Adley is 2 for 19, and Ryan is 7 for 26. So at least Ryan is why we have an average. He's hitting 269.
There are probably 2 pinpoints on why we don't have a good squad right now. 1, no leadership, and 2, and this probably goes hand in hand. And Brandon Hyde, I'm sorry, and you and I have talked about this via text.
Yeah,
there's no leadership. No.
Right. And here's what worse, like we've seen pretty much the same top of the lineup since 2023, for the most part. They're hitting 220, the 1, 2, and 3 spots. That's bad. And if you compare that to the league, they are 26th in average, and in RBIs, they are dead last with 14 RBIs out of their top 3 hitters. How can you win if your top 3 in the lineup aren't driving in runs?
You can't.
You can't.
You cannot.
That's. I don't want to say it's pathetic, but that's pretty close to being pathetic.
It's damn near pathetic.
Minnesota's top 3 is hitting 192. They still have more RBIs. Like it's bad. And Cedric got back in the leadoff and performed, and then was immediately taken back out of it. Now, granted, he still hit a home run again last night. He's swinging a hot bat. Get Adley Rutschman out of the top 3. Like, just get him out.
Please.
Right now, he needs to be hitting 7, 8, or 9.
7, 8, or 9. Absolutely. Bottom of the barrel. It's fine.
Let him get himself back. Adley is a good hitter. He's a good hitter, and I know people want to kind of shit on him a little bit. The whole team's struggling right now. I haven't lost faith in Adley at all. Just get him out of the 2 or 3 hole. Like, just let him relax down. Look, who's your better hitters right now? Cedric Mullins, Heston Kjerstad. Holiday sometimes here and there hits the ball pretty well. Ryan O'Hearn. Like, you interchange those guys a little bit. It's if we hurt Gunnar Henderson's feelings because he's hitting 5th instead of 3rd, like, I don't give a shit. I'm sorry.
Who cares? Fuck. Who cares?
And Gunner's still hitting. Like, he's getting hot. So he can probably stay around that 3 to 4 or 5 range. Like I think everybody would be okay with that. But you can use Cedric Mullins up in the top with Heston Kjerstad hitting second or something like that. It's not like Kjerstad's slow, and I'm going to bring this up. Kjerstad can run.
Yes. Yes.
Like 27-7. You know, he's 0.2 feet slower than Jorge Mateo and 0.1 away from Gunnar Henderson.
And that's stunning.
The kid can run. And look, the cows are down here. That's probably not true. He only had 5 competitive runs. It basically means he probably didn't hit a ball hard enough to run yet before he got hurt. So that's going to come up too. But everybody else this is pretty much who they are. And I mean, when Jordan Westberg breaks out of the slump, you can move Jordan Westberg back into the 2-hole. But look, just Adley hasn't been the guy in the 2-hole in a long time. And I'm going to go back to this. We'll go to player. Let's do Adley. Let me get him out of here. Batting in the 2-hole, he's a career. Is this career? No. Let me put it in 2023. And career. 261. So that's okay, right? We'll go back to 2024. 242 with 71 RBIs in 132 games. That looks good. Now, if we go back from July 1st,
but Adley,
167 out of the 2-hole.
He's not a leader.
Right. 167 in the 2-hole. And you just keep him there nonstop. Like, why? Now, I do like the 29 walks to 33 Ks. I think that's fine. 167 with only a 26% hard hit rate. Like, what are we doing?
If you had to pick one leader on this team, who would it be? Honestly.
The fact that I have to sit here and think about it is the problem.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Because I don't know. Like, it should be Cedric Mullins, right? Should be. Should be somebody maybe like Ryan O'Hearn. It should be Adley Rutschman or Gunnar Henderson. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's so I think we're kind of defaulting to Mullins and O'Hearn just because they're older. Are they? I'm not in the clubhouse to really know, but I can't answer that.
I mean, from everything I heard, and while I'm texting Ryan Ripken yesterday, while I'm making fun of his hairline yesterday from above, I said, nice hairline. He's like, there's no leader on this team. There's none.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the leader might be Cal Ripken. He's sitting in a seat behind the plate.
Yeah, and I don't even see Brandon Hyde as a leader.
No.
Like, I miss the old days, Brandon Hyde, when he tried to fight Chris Davis.
Yes.
That was the guy that I was all about. I wanted that guy in my dugout.
I want that fist. I want that fist. I want that guy. Like,
I don't care if he's got to go up. And look, if these are kids that are having issues with failure and you think they're going to crumble because you yell at them, we got bigger problems.
Well, then also those are children that shouldn't be playing in the major leagues.
Right.
They should.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And it's the inconsistency is the weirdest part. And like none of us around have been able to put our finger on why they just decide to suck some nights. None of us. I think we've all tried.
The fact that we're trying,
with Nick
they're not. And I'm not saying they're not trying, but damn it, come on.
I agree with Nick. I don't want to say he looks lost. I think he thinks the way I do. What the hell do I do?
I think
he obviously knows more going on in that clubhouse than we do as fans. But if he's saying some of the things that he's saying in his interviews, he's just as concerned as we are.
And that's what's even more concerning is there needs to be some guy, and that's why I bring out JD Martinez again, is some guy to come in basically give an iron fist to people and be like, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
There's just way too much talent on this team.
Way too much. That's just way too much. This is one of the more talented hitting rosters in the major leagues.
Mm-hmm.
when they perform like they should. The problem is they haven't performed in a very long time. And I've seen some people questioning, like, is this who they really are?
I don't know.
They've given us nothing to say they aren't.
I don't know if they know who they are. That's one of the more terrifying things.
I think that's 1,000% fair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's rough. And look, are they that in tune to what Elias is doing and Hyde is doing where they just let it affect them? I don't know. Are they that pissy that good arms aren't here? I don't know, man. Should there be? Yeah, there should. I think I'll get into what I was saying. I think Mike looked at the whole, okay, we do need some veteran leadership in this clubhouse. We are letting James McCann go. Let me go and get another older catcher who's been around, who's won in this league. So they went and got Gary Sanchez. Cool. Don't like it, but that's what they did. Okay, let me go get Charlie Morton, to kind of groom Grayson and stuff like that. Hasn't worked out. I was excited for Charlie. I thought Charlie had one more good year in him. And, if everything worked out, Charlie would have been just fine. And I was excited about Sagano because he was one of the more sought-after free agent arms this offseason, just under Sasaki. And, was he in the same conversation as Crochet and all? No. But he was in that, like, Jack Flaherty conversation. Mm-hmm. He was that tier below, and I was excited to get him. And, he's had great numbers over there, and he's shown some promise. Kyle Gibson doesn't move a needle for me. That to me, that's an oh shit. This worked in 2023. Let's try it again.
Yeah, well, understood totally. Innings eater, Kevin Millwood, go right down. Go right down.
4.5 to 5.0 ERA. That's what you're going to get out of him.
And then get to your bullpen.
Yeah, long term, that's probably what you're going to get out of Charlie Morton too. You'll have two starters at around a 5 ERA. We'll say between a 4.5 and a 5. Mm-hmm. Sure, cool. I expected more from Cade. I thought Cade looked really good in spring training. And I grant it now. Hopefully, maybe last night was just a really, really bad night. I don't know. We kind of knew coming in Cincinnati was hot.
Missing a lot over the middle, though. Missing a lot over the middle.
He was. And part of me looks at this, too, and I'm like, look, the balls suck. I don't think a lot of people realize that. There's almost no seams on the ball in the major leagues.
It's a pull ball.
Yeah, so when you start in the minors and rookie ball, there's still, just like college, there's still a good bit of seams. Mm-hmm. Every level you move up, the seams get a little bit lower. A lot of people don't understand that. And they took the sticky stuff away. Mm-hmm. So these games in April where last night was not cold, but majority of this season we've played in pretty cold weather. Mm-hmm. It's hard to grip the ball. I was hoping that was the issue, but last night clearly wasn't that cold.
Wasn't the issue.
I do want a league-wide approved sticky substance to come back. I think it's better for player safety. I think it's better for control of the ball.
Agreed.
Trying to throw more strikes. I think definitely our team could benefit from that. And this is a good question. How do we feel about Brandon Young? Brandon Young throws a lot of strikes. The thing I like about Brandon Young doesn't have as many walks as McDermott and Povich did in Norfolk. Mm-hmm. Norfolk it's really, really hard to judge, and a lot of people don't understand it. And they look at a lot of stats
coming in off the water, really
blowing straight out.
Yeah,
sometimes it whips out, and that's why like we always see very high home run numbers from our players in Norfolk. Mm-hmm. The ball flies out, so it's really hard to gauge how good a player really is. And for Brandon to kind of have that mid to sub 3 ERA in his first year in AAA last year, and already under a 3 ERA this year, that's hard to do in the International League. Yeah. So that means, he's around the zone. And the zones aren't great, so walk rates are always going to be up a little bit higher for pretty much anybody in the minors. The umpires, they're minor league umpires for a reason. They're still learning themselves. So, if they can give me four today, I'll be happy with that. Less than 2 runs in a debut, I'd be happy with that. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know, but there's some issues going on, And I don't know if Brandon Young fixes that right now. You know, them DFAing blew it today. I thought was dumb, but it
Dumb.
goes back to them just legitimately not having any options in the bullpen. And we knew it was going to come back and bite him in the ass someday.
I'm going to bring you back to one thing. What's your pinpoint? What do we need to change? And I honestly believe it's manager. I really do. And this is not me shitting on Brandon Hyde. It's time.
I think you're right. And I only say that because of how the team looks every night. And that just not having that fire in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. You know, it's tough to watch. And I don't like watching it, to be completely honest with you.
I hate to always bring it back to, Buck Showalter, but when they won that, as I call it, clinchmas, I'm sure you probably do as well, when Bud Norris is running around with Budweisers in his hands.
Yeah.
They look like they were having fun.
Mm-hmm.
This team looks like they're not having fun.
They had fun in 2022.
Okay.
Or 2023. When Brandon Hyde won Manager of the Year, like everybody seemed to get along.
Mm.
And I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. I
mean,
really don't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up numbers now. Adley is hitting 167 in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning this year. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
The Orioles are hitting 209 as a team in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning this year, ranked 22nd. 209. I got to see what it is in the top 3 order.
By the way, do you have allergies? I'm throwing this out there randomly.
We talked about this earlier, yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's bad.
It's terrible.
The 1 through 3 hitters in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, 145. 145.
And there's no situational hitting. And please bring back bunting into the game.
We have 4 RBIs from the top 3 of our lineup in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. You can't win ball games.
You cannot. And you sent something the other day where we had 12 RBIs. It's like 4 days ago. We had 12 RBIs throughout the duration of the season. And that was like 14, 15, 16, 17 games in. Like, that can't happen.
Right.
Where's Felix PA?
Oh, you know what's funny is I said that about a week ago, and they only have 14 now. So that's been, 5 games since I said that?
I'm out.
So they've had 2 RBIs in the top 3 of their lineup in the last 5 games.
Hey,
that one was a Cedric Mullins solo.
I'm wearing a Tony Gwynn hat right now, and he would have more RBIs in the team right now.
Right now, he would. It's rough out there, man. It's absolutely rough out there. It's do you think Michael Eyes sheds any of this blame?
Yes. The answer is so cold-heartedly yes. He does. And so does Sid and their friends.
Yeah.
They live in Canton. Here, they live 2 blocks away. They do. They deserve it. And now I'm going to say this, and this is going to come off as a backhanded comment, but it's meant to be very nice. Right now, Sig is working with the Ravens for their draft. So in the middle of the Orioles, for lack of a better term, downtrot, he's working with the Ravens. So
nice.
I mean, I don't know how to word this any better, but damn, shit. I mean, our guys have other priorities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And look, I don't want to take this away from Rip because Rip's a great dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long way to go comment last night. While I agree with it, I'm concerned too. Like, yes, it's a long way to go. We all know that it's only April, but it would take a miracle for this current team at this current state to be something when it matters right now. And
I agree with you. And this is why I really was – Brooks and I talked on the side. I wanted fucking Verlander or Scherzer to come in.
They don't put up with shit.
They don't put up with shit. I mean, they come in and once again, that iron fist thing. I want some guy to come in and just be like, let's go. It's our time. Let's dance. because you have young talent that is ready to rock and roll. Do it.
Oh, do you think that they would turn around and some of those defensive mistakes and they'd be okay? Hell no. They'd have your ass with a forearm up in your throat in the dugout saying, get your shit together.
And like what Rip told me yesterday, Ryan, that is, he was like, dude, my dad would call pitches and be like, go fuck yourself. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, just do it.
Yeah, and it's me being a catcher, sometimes I'm a little harder on Adley than I probably should be, but I hate his pitch selection and how he calls a game sometimes.
What do you mean?
He's so fastball fucking happy, excuse my French. And I pulled it up last year and I had to look at it. At one point, anytime Burns had a 0-2 count or a 1-2 count, it was like 87% they threw a cutter. So, you knew what was coming. Yeah, granted, it worked more times than not. Obviously, August, it didn't work.
Yeah, because his ball's dipping, yeah.
Yeah, but it's and I haven't looked at it yet this year, but, sometimes it's almost like they telegraph what they're going to throw.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find this shit out on Baseball Savant, you already know the hitting coaches on the other teams have already pulled the same numbers.
With their tablet,
yeah, and they're probably sitting there, okay, more times than not, we'll say over 50 or 60% of the time, this is what they throw in an 0-2 or 1-2 count. Sit on that. And if they're guessed wrong, they get out. When they aren't guessing wrong and they guess right is when we're getting our titties ripped.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse my French again. It's an old baseball term. It's...
Sorry, kids.
But that's just what it is. If they're sitting there waiting on something because you just continually do the same thing over and over, it's going to happen like with Cade Povich last night. And I thought it was kind of funny because somebody asked me, going into that game, Gary Sanchez had almost a complete 1 ERA lower than Adley. It was like a 3.4 or something like that. It jumped up to a 4.35 or something, but Adley was almost at a 5 ERA.
And I'm going to jump on your bandwagon real quick about Gary Sanchez. He might be the slowest man in Major League Baseball.
He's lazy too.
It is so bad to watch.
Yeah.
It's a sundial running down first base.
It almost looks like he's in pain while he runs.
The old JJ Hardy.
Yeah, but at least JJ moved a little bit, Oh man. So I'm actually interested now because I want to see what happened last year with the catcher splits. And I know this will show me somewhere.
And also, what I don't like is the lack of fundamentals in the game.
Oh, my God. And it's gotten worse every year.
Yes.
Every single year. And I talked about this last night. I recorded an episode with Full Count Chaos. It wasn't live. We were just recording. And we talked about that play that Kerstad dropped or let drop in left field. Mm-hmm. And I was like, two things that kind of pissed me off about it. One was Cedric Mullins. We've already ran out 10 right fielders this year, or 10 left fielders in 17 games. I was like, Cedric Mullins doesn't know who's playing next to him every day. Mm-hmm. And he can't get used to it. And I said, number two is you could tell Cedric started to shade to right center field.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. 100%.
They didn't talk, or they didn't move with each other, which goes back to just not being comfortable with who's next to you. Mm. And it almost looked like Heston took a couple steps and started to realize, I'm in center field. Where's Cedric? And he looked up and was like, shit.
Yes.
And then one that goes back to lineups and defensive positioning, not playing the same guys every day. And two, it's just that's basic fundamentals.
Yeah. And here's the kicker is we've talked about this before, having that camaraderie. When AJ and Markakis were next to each other, 21-10, you knew exactly where each other was going to be. Yeah. And that's really what it came down to. You know how many steps he had to take, and you know how many steps you had to take.
Yep.
Beat whatever guy that may be. They don't know that now. They just don't. And that I hate to keep shitting on Brandon Hyde, but I'm gonna shit on Brandon.
You have to. Even in spring training, nobody got used to who's playing where. Could you imagine? Okay, Mountcastle's got to deal with. He had to deal with what? Holiday, Soto, Westberg, Urias, and somebody else.
And even Mateo might have been out there from time to time.
He was. So when Ryan's really good, he knows that, okay, after 2 steps, I probably should just get back to the bag because so and so next to me is just good enough to go get that ball. Now it's like, well, maybe I got to take a 3rd step because I don't know where whoever the hell's playing here tonight may or may not be. It's just little simple stuff. Like, same with Tyler O'Neill. Like, how's he supposed to get comfortable as an outfielder breaking in on balls, not knowing how fast a guy coming back is? Like, if he gets a bad jump, okay, maybe Holiday's fast enough to go get to that. Or if Holiday gets a bad jump, maybe I'm fast enough to go get that. But now it's like, well, Mateo's a little bit faster, you know, or Westberg, you know, maybe just got really bad jump, doesn't see the ball well from second. Like, nobody has any clue about anybody next to him or in front of him at all.
So you played catcher, right?
Catcher and outfield.
Catcher and outfield. So you knew exactly where someone would be. I'm assuming you had probably the same guy, unless people were getting called up, called down.
Yep.
You knew what was going on next to you. Like when I played college ball, I knew exactly how many feet I could take before my second baseman would call me off.
Yep.
Like I knew. And then I was out of place.
And that comes at reps.
Go back. It's reps. It's the equivalent of a quarterback and a wide receiver. Yeah. I know it's apples to oranges, but
it's not though. Because when his favorite wide receiver goes down, he's got to go turn to somebody else. It's different. And he's putting the ball where he's used to it, but that next guy just can't get there. Or he cuts it a little bit shorter and the ball is now overthrown where before it was kind of perfect. Like, it's not apples to oranges. It's kind of the same thing. And it's annoying. We're in a very frustrating period with the Orioles. And I will say this, and I'm sure you agree with me on this one. We're in a good place in terms of talent. I don't think we're in a good place in terms of leadership. Yeah.
And if you tell me I'm wrong, I will absolutely listen to you.
I can't tell you wrong. And people are like, look, fire Brandon Hyde. This team is talented. So say they go on a run. Cool. Like, we'd all be really ecstatic. You're heading into the playoffs with a bench coach with 0 years experience, a head coach with 0 years experience, and a pitching coach with 2 years experience. 2 years with us. I mean, he had what, two years prior with Atlanta, but so you're looking at potentially 5 to 6 years total experience on that coaching staff if you fire Brandon Hyde.
Agreed.
Like,
and look, I'm going to make an absolute asinine comment. I believe Bobby Valentine could manage his team better than Brandon Hyde could right now.
Yeah.
And he could walk in tomorrow.
Because Bobby didn't play that shit.
Yeah, and he could walk in with his mustache on. You know?
Yeah. And I
hate to say it, but damn it. It drives me insane. I hate to even give Aaron Boone credit, but I'll give Aaron Boone credit. I mean, he at least has like that clubhouse. So
he does. And he's a yes guy. He's a yes guy to his GM.
Mm-hmm.
And people complain that Hyde might be a yes guy to Elias, but look, that's what people want nowadays. But you still got to be very good at everything else to be a major league manager. And like I said, look, I'm a Hyde guy. I was for a long time. I'm still not fully out, 100%. I'm getting frustrated, but I'm not going to say that I'm out, because I've seen a different side of Brandon Hyde. We all saw it in 22 and 23. Right? Yeah. And what we've seen in the end of 24 and 25 is not the guy that was hired here 7 years ago, in my opinion. I don't know what's changed. I don't know if he got on blood pressure medicine. I don't know. But that fiery Brandon Hyde, the guy who always walked around and smiled and, you know, cracked jokes and checked in with his team, just isn't here.
I agree with you 100%. And I don't know how much you enjoyed your college and major league and minor league coaches, but my college coach, who we don't get along, period, to this day, that man taught me a lot, and I would listen to anything he told me to do.
Yeah, you'd run through a wall for him.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I would run through a wall for Ray Hedrick, but right now, I don't feel like this team would run through a wall for Brandon Hyde.
No. I mean, how long did it take him to run out and back him up against the Yankees? Vaughn was there, and then who else? Freddie Gonzalez?
Fredo.
you know, and then everybody else kind of just ran in. I don't know what to say about it.
This is our vent session, man. This is where we just scream and just like yell, like damn it, come on, man.
I've gotten past that point, but because I keep telling myself this is a good team, and
They are a good team. They are a good team. We're talking in circles, at this point.
Play of Randolph Macon.
Giddy up.
That's cool.
But yeah, played Randolph Macon. Ray Hedrick.
Where was Randolph? Is that at South Carolina?
Nah, it's in Virginia. Exit 92. Exit 92B, man.
Nice.
95. Yeah.
I played at Dundalk.
Dundalk. Oh, DCC.
Yep. Well, I started at Dundalk, then went to Chesapeake, and then went back. to
Elliot
Dundalk.
Oppenheimer.
Yep. Funny story about Elliot, man. This team came down from New York one time, and I was a leadoff hitter, and he told me
you had speed.
Dude, I ran a 6.360.
What?
That's why I wasn't a catcher very long. Yeah. So so they come down here and Oppie's like, look, I know these guys. Look, they're throwing a good lefty. He's going to start you off with a curveball. He said, I want you to fall over. And I said, what? He said, I want you to fall over. I want you to look like you were scared of shitless of that curveball. And he said, and when they throw you the second one in a row, I want you to hit that shit over the street. And I was like, whatever, dude. So he throws it. I fall down. I kick dirt up on purpose or whatever. And the next one comes in. I hit it about 500. Back with the old blue and white connection.
You didn't hit it 500. You hit it 422.
Maybe. I don't know. So have you played at BCC, right?
Yeah, I did.
So you got the tall fence, and then you've got the street, and then you've got the hill, and then the next fence that goes over to Dundalk High School.
Giddy up. Absolutely.
I hit it in the Dundalk High School. So I crushed it. And this fucker, dude. He's sitting on his little bucket, and I come across the plate, and he's just like, just smiling at me the whole time, like, I told you. Same voice. I told you that was coming.
I told you.
Oh God, he was funny, man.
They retired the bucket. That's no joke. They retired the bucket.
Yeah.
Yep.
I went back and coached with him after I retired, and we had some good times. We fought, but I mean, same thing. Sometimes we didn't see eye to eye, and sometimes he ran his mouth and I ran mine, and I had to run for an hour. And
good for you.
And he benched me once, and I remember we were doing winter workouts, and we were running or something. One of the guys on the team just would not stop complaining. And Oppie's like, oh, you want to keep complaining? You can keep running. And we were like probably on like hour 2. And at this point, I'm pissed.
You doing polls?
No, we were in the gym, just running around the gym.
All right.
And finally, like, he said something again. I slammed him up against the chairs. I'm like, will you shut the fuck up? Like, I'm tired of running at this point. And he didn't say anything. I think he was kind of happy, but so he kind of like, didn't say anything. And then we start a year in Florida, and he's like, oh yeah, you're suspended this first game for doing that. And then he's like pointing at, like, it was like 10 of us. He's like, yeah, you're suspended 1 game, you're suspended 2 games. Like as we get there, like on the field against the number 1 team in the country. And I was like, that's fantastic. So, and this is how I ended up getting drafted. It was like the 8th inning or something. We were down 2-0, and he finally goes, get a bat. And I'm like, I thought I was suspended. He said, you were for 8 innings. He's like, go get a bat. And I was like, all right. So I come up there, and there's a lefty throwing like 97.
If I'm allowed to, am I allowed to ask a couple questions about you getting drafted?
Yeah.
Where were you when you got drafted? And then what was your reaction?
At home. I knew it was coming.
Did you?
Yeah, because later in the year, like I had did like 4 or 5 different pre-draft workouts, different states and stuff, and I had like 20 or 30 different letters from different teams and stuff. And one of our coaches was like a ex-scout, so he had always had people there. Dean Albany was always there.
Yeah.
But when it started early in the season, like nothing. Like I didn't even have an offer coming out of high school after 1 year because I had torn my shoulder and like everybody went away. So we get up, this lefty stone 97. I literally closed my eyes and hit one out. Closed my eyes. Like I'd never seen anything above 90 before. Hit one out.
Did you feel the ball off the bat? Did you feel it at all?
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. So there was like 10, 15 scouts there. They were all radar gunning him, and then, they started following me around after that because I think I ran like a 3.9 to first base or something like that. Like I could fly. So then, long story short, but yeah, I had the Marlins actually came to Dundalk to give me a private workout.
Okay.
And like they brought their own balls, their own bats. They put me in like situations in the cage. They said, we want you to hit it exactly right here on the field. We want you to hit exactly right here. We did the pop times, the throw from the outfield and stuff. I had a workout at Camden Yards, and this was actually a funny one too because I had one of the better arms there, and I knew it. So they lined up everybody out about 270-ish feet in right field. They put like a bunch of cones. And everybody got 2 ground balls. They wanted you to throw down a third from the outfield to see how hard you could go. They said the first one, we want to see how good your arm is. And the second one, we want to see an accurate throw.
All right.
So I was like, all right, cool. So everybody's, kind of throwing it right there. As, good throws. Everybody had really good throws. So I come up, and the guy's like, he's like, I want to see what you got. And I was like, all right. So I threw a BB about 13 rows up into the stands from about 275 feet out in right field. And they just looked at me. They were like, well, you got to have a little bit of a good throw. I said, you said you wanted to see arm strength. So he's like, all right, well, give me a good throw. And then I gave him a good one hop, like right down to third. And but I forget the guy's name. He got drafted by the Orioles, but he was a catcher. Was it Calvert Hall? Joe something.
Don't know.
I forget his name, dude. He was hitting upper deckers with a wooden bat at Camden Yards.
Brooks and Dusty would know for sure.
They would 1,000%. He was huge. They would definitely know who it was. But there was a lot of good guys there. I remember. Do you remember? Who was the speedster years ago that we had? God, I gotta look this up now. Oh God, what was his name?
Damn.
He was a second round. Xavier Avery.
Xavier Avery, yes.
Remember how fast he was?
Yeah. Yes.
So I went down to a Cubs pre-draft workout in Georgia, and I hear my name called for the 60 time. And they said, more. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, heard you're fast. I could run a little bit for a catcher. They said, well, here, go race this guy. I was like, cool, who is it? And they said his name or whatever. And I was like, all right. And I'm kind of looking at him. I was like, I'm about to get dusted here. And dude, it was the fastest of my life. I ran a 6.3 that day. It was my fastest time of my life.
6.360?
Yeah, and I got dusted. He jogged and ran a 6.13.
At Willie Mays Hayes style? Like
It
come
was
right out of the bed?
ridiculous, dude. I gave it everything I had, and I'm watching him, and he's just casually running a 6.13. It was incredible.
I love that.
It was incredible. And then he didn't hit a single ball out of the infield and went in the second round. But that's how it works. That's how it works. There's actually some really good players in this draft that I just realized.
I remember throwing Gavin. I was calling pitches when I coached at St. Paul's, and I remember throwing Gavin Sheets a changeup.
Oh, nice.
I called pitches, and I would give the signs. And he swung and hit a ball about 450 feet left at the old Gilman Field. So I was like, all right, throw him a fastball. Terrible idea. He hit it at 409.
I think we just lost you.
95 feet in motion.
That's incredible.
Hit it on Roland Park Road or Roland Park Ave, wherever the hell it is.
I'm trying to find who that was. What year did Brooksy play there?
Brooksy was probably he probably graduated like 10, 11.
So it's 2008. I was drafted.
Yeah.
Did he still play there then? I don't remember.
All I know is when I went out, the first time I went to Carmel, Indiana, all I asked Brooks for my birthday was I want to play catch. I hadn't played catch in a long time.
Yeah.
And so Brooks gave me a glove. All right, cool. We go to this random field, and this dude just goes full wind up. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Still going 88 miles an hour. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Brooks. How do you get this fucking power out of your little ass body?
Mm-hmm.
Strong legs, man.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember this guy's name, but God, he was literally hitting upper deckers. Yeah, but we got way off topic there.
Yeah, without doubt. That's what I normally do anyway. I go as Dusty likes to say, go out of right field, not left field.
Yeah, but we'll get back on topic. Oh yeah, Joe. Yeah, sure you do. Brendan said who the Marlins did in 2008, 24th round or something like that. I don't even remember.
What did you do when you got drafted? Like what?
So I had friends over.
How did you celebrate?
Yeah, I had friends over, and I thought it was going to be the Cubs because the Cubs kept saying like we got you slotted between that 10th and 15th round, and then like Dean Albany called and he's like, yeah, the Orioles have you between like 12 and 16. I was like, okay, cool. And I had talked a lot with the Marlins, but not much leading up to the draft. And then Dean called me in like the 21st round and said, if you're still around, we're going to take you soon. And I was like, okay. And then the Marlins called in the 24th and they said, hey, we just took you. It's coming over the ticker soon. And I was like, what? Like, I haven't talked to you guys in weeks. Like, I had pretty much told myself I was going back to school. And they called and they were like, well, what's it going to take you to sign? And I was like, I want $100,000. They said, well, that's way over slot for this round. And I was like, I'm a freshman. Like, I want $100,000. And they were like, well, we can offer you like 40-ish, and then we'll give you some schooling money where you get $15,000 a semester for the next 3 years.
Okay, I knew that was an option, but okay.
Yeah, my mom was like, we'll take it. And I was like, oh, whoa.
Whoa.
And I was like, I want an Escalade. She says, you've already had one arm surgery. You're taking the school. And I was so mad. And she got on the phone. She said, we'll take it. And I was so mad. And but little did you know, like, this was me not knowing enough about the game and like really never talking to anybody. Money makes such a big deal. And like, you don't think it does, but like, you're an investment. If you don't have enough money into you, they don't give a shit about you at all. And I didn't know that.
This is not a shot at your parents. Did it mean more to you or more to your family, the money?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah. My mom wanted the school. That's all she cared about.
Fair enough.
Already having one surgery. She was like, I don't know how long your arm's going to last. She's like, take the free money. And I only have a degree now because of that. Flat out. I would have never paid for it by myself. But what's funny is when I actually went to use it, it's good for 15 years after you are done playing. Mm-hmm. The guy told me he's like 8% of people ever use it that actually get offered it. He's like, you're one of very few who actually take and use the free money.
Really?
And he's like, you can use it anywhere. He said, so they base it off of like the biggest university in your area. Excuse me. So us being University of Maryland. So at that time, tuition was around, probably a little bit more, but around $15,000. They don't really want you to take more than 4 classes a semester. So
yeah,
he was like, you don't have to use it at University of Maryland. You can use it anywhere. He's like, but that's just how they kind of break it down. So I was like, whatever, man. So I used it and got a degree, and now I got a pretty decent job because of it.
What recommendation would you give to guys who are coming out now with NIL? And I know that's not a world you grew up in. What information would you give guys now to like how to basically navigate their
find a place you're going to play?
Okay.
Do not worry about, I got to go to D1. Don't worry about that. Do guys get drafted out of D1? Yeah. But you know where else they get drafted out of? NIAA schools, JUCOs, Division II, Division III. The competition level, I don't want to say it is the same, but it's growing in every single division. It's growing everywhere. And I never forget my old hitting coach for the Marlins, John Maley. It always told me, and I tell everyone I ever meet nowadays because of this, as long as you have a jersey on your back, you still got a shot. And it doesn't matter where you play. If you are good, they will find you.
They will find you.
Yeah.
And how much do you miss it?
A lot.
Yeah. I miss every single day not being in the dugout.
Yeah. I miss the guys, and I do miss the game. I was competitive. I was very competitive, and that was partly why I sucked because I put way too much pressure on myself. Way too much pressure on myself. I would hit until my hands bled sometimes.
Oh, I believe you.
I'd be 2-3 hours into a session, and I could tell my coach is over there sweating bullets, and I'm just like, oh yeah, one more round, I'm working on this, and he's just like, yeah, let's go inside. And it still didn't work. I still couldn't hit in the game, but it's just how it is, Then I had a problem and had to retire.
Orioles and stuff like this, but these reminiscing stories are some of the better things that you get to hear and things that people actually care about, because I still have dreams. I still have dreams on a regular basis about going up to the plate and I don't get to hit, and then I wake up. Either my girlfriend wakes me up or some kind of noise, like a trash truck is outside. I wake up and I just do not get a chance to hit. And I would do anything in this world to still be able to hit one more time.
Oh yeah, dude, it's cutthroat too. Like I played with a guy. We were drafted the same year. I want to say he was a senior. I don't remember what school. It was some Florida school, and he was hitting like 328. He was killing the ball, and he didn't run one ball out one day, just one. And we were all kind of pissed off at him. It was a tight game, and this is in a league that didn't even matter. They didn't even keep stats in rookie league back then. And they brought him in. They said,
season single A or something like that, or
this was before that. So when you get drafted, this is the Gulf Coast League. So back then they didn't keep stats in the Gulf Coast League, and they brought him in and said, "We're letting you go." And I'm like, dude, this dude's hitting 328. They're letting him go, and they were like, just with your body style and stuff, we don't ever see you being a big league player, ever. And I'm like, this dude's hitting 328 right now. Like, like I was legitimately shocked. And they packed his stuff up for him and sent him on his way. It's just that's just the kind of world that it is.
Yeah. It's cutthroat, man. It's cutthroat.
It is, and they'll hang on to some guys that don't hit at all because they see something in them. It's I don't know.
Yeah, sorry to send down memory lane there, man. And also fuck Joe Racky. But
That's funny.
I love it.
There was good times, man. I remember we played against Kobe Rasmus when he was with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
He was young, and he got hurt and came down, and he was doing a rehab assignment because we actually shared a facility with
Great mullet. Great mullet.
Oh, dude. He came up and went 5 for 5 with 5 home runs against us. And I'm like, can he go back to the big leagues, please?
What?
Like,
what?
5 for 5 with 5 home runs. And the worst part is we won 19-18 in the 10th inning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dude, there's a lot of stories like that.
Oh, I'm sure, man. I'm sure.
My old coach was he used to pitch, I want to say maybe for the Orioles. And his name was Steve Doc Watson. You may remember his name. He was a bullpen guy for a long time.
You'd remember a name like Steve Doc Watson.
We called him Doc, but his name is just Steve Watson. And so he was our coach. And so here's his old thing here. His name was Doc Watson. He played for a long time. And he used to get pissed if you hit a home run off him in BP. And like if you watched it, he would throw you the nastiest cutter ever. And he still had a big league cutter.
And you can hear that sizzle, like.
Oh my God! And I remember I hit one time, and he just started laughing. He goes, "You know what's coming?" And I'm like, "Bring it, old man." Dude, I fouled it right off my ankle, and I fractured my ankle off of this. And I'm on the ground,
goodness.
like rolling around and crying. And he's just laughing. He's like, "You dumb son of a bitch!" Like that's just how the game was back then,
That's where Evo Shield actually existed. I remember facing Justin
that.
Verlander for the first time, and he shook my hand. I remember his hand came all the way up to here.
Oh yeah.
Arm. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in trouble.
Mm-hmm. My first ever at bat was Adam Wainwright.
Jesus.
On a rehab assignment.
God.
And I literally I'd never swung a wooden bat before getting drafted. And I'd never really seen too much over 90 before. And I remember somebody got hurt. I didn't even start this game. Somebody got hurt. It was like a third inning. And I come in and they're like, "Hey, grab a bat." And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, grab a bat.
I'm in trouble.
And I'm like, I've been sitting here blowing bubbles for like 45 minutes. What do you mean grab a bat? And I get up there and I'm just like, God, what do I do? And I didn't even take BP or nothing. And it's
What the hell were you doing beforehand? What were
I was
you doing?
catching bullpens. So like, dude, they wear you out in rookie leagues. Like you get to the field at 6 a.m. and like you practice literally for 4 hours, and then you go inside and you eat lunch, and then you play a game, and then you go inside and work out, and you're usually leaving the clubhouse by about 7-8 p.m. They dog you down there.
I believe
And
it.
so I get up there and it was like a 12 pitch at bat or something like that. I'm fouling balls off as best as I can. I'm seeing the nastiest shit I've ever seen in my life and just praying to God I make contact. And he walks me. And he's pissed, you know. And I lead off a little bit and I steal second, first pitch. And he's giving me this death stare and I'm like, what the hell, dude? And I get like a decent lead off second. I'm thinking in my mind like, all right, I'm going first move here. I'm going to go take third. And I was like, I'm going to try and make a name for myself here. And he does an inside move, and I dive back in. He pelts me right in the ribs.
Lefty or righty?
He was righty.
Righty, okay.
And pelts me right in the ribs. And I'm like laying there, and I'm looking over, and he's like, you don't run, rookie. And I was like, what do you mean? And my manager at this point, his name is Andy Haynes, is out there, and he's like, oh, we forgot to tell you some of the unwritten rules about rehab assignments. And I'm like, thanks.
Yeah. Where was this beforehand, dickhead?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
He's like, yeah, you don't run when these guys are rehab. And I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks.
On that note, a little reminiscent. Austin Hayes and the Oriole fans, congratulations. I mean, what a great job.
I love Austin. That was a guy that would play 150% every single play. And that was why he was always hurt.
Yeah. Lived here in Canton, great wife, lived in my apartment building before I moved to where I am now. And just well done by the Oriole fans. Like, just good job.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. Well, the game is on. I feel like we're not as mad anymore now that we went down memory lane.
I wanted to vent with you because I needed to vent, and I'm glad you wanted to vent as well. And look, the O's are going to get a win today.
They've already got 2 runners on, and they're down 1-0.
And somewhere Brooks is like mad that he can't be on this right now. I know it is, but I know he is, but his wife is very happy that he's not.
Yeah.
So my left eye is leaking like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go watch Brandon Young.
Let's do it, baby.
He's got 2 outs, 2 on, 1 in, but you know, he can settle in from there.
Zach, you are a man, dude. I appreciate you so much. I really do. Thank you for letting me come on here for a hot minute for 1 hour in. But to Brooks, to Gary Williams, Summer Lawn Furniture, to you guys, take care. And whenever you come up to Baltimore, whenever you come up to Canton, call me, please.
All right, man.
You have my number. So.
All right, stream.